What's good, everybody? Boy, are we fired up today. This is Early Edge Live. We do it every single Sunday at noon Eastern time. We count down to all the 1 o'clock games today, 9 early games, 3 late games, and, of course, tonight, Sunday Night Football, the Steelers and the Chargers. I am the coach. We are powered by the almighty SportsLine, the best value in all of sports betting, and it's not even close. I need you to be active in the comment section, please. If we get to 400 likes today, we're just doing one very simple giveaway. We're going to give away one of those very elusive Early Edge sweatshirts. Not like this beautiful thing I'm wearing, but a sweatshirt, a hoodie. If we can get to 400 likes, just pound that like button. Everybody do it once, and then put the comment section right back up, and you guys can just go away. My girl Kelsey runs the chat. If you have any issues or any questions, just type it in there, and she can answer it for you. And Noah, one of our bosses, the boss, is also in the chat. If you have any questions, we'll try to get to as many as we possibly can. All right, a lot to get to. Let's bring in the stars of the show. And you know on Sunday, I bring in all my heavy hitters. Oh, DFS wizard, just absolute genius. We could not do this brand without him. M Squared, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Coach. Fired up for this slate. Definitely working through DFS still, so I will do my best to pay attention, but you'll have 100% of me in about 10 minutes.
What do we always say? That 40% of M Squared is better than 100% of AB, who, by the way, was supposed to be on the show today, but apparently, as you see, nowhere to be found. Now, the man who always shows up, whether it's Monday, whether it's Thursday, whether it's Friday, or whether it's right here on Sunday, live from parts unknown. His name is Alex. We call him Prop Stars. Good afternoon, sir.
What is up, Coach? Mikey, Larry, just wanted to give you a shout out fresh off of that historic performance in the Rec League. It was buzzing all over the interweb. I mean, just some of those clips were viral. House of Highlights, Ball is Life, just Larry just putting down some thunderous dunks. It was just absolutely phenomenal to see.
And he gets to do it all over again tomorrow. Thanks to those refs. That you couldn't have a better intro than that. Maestro, good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, tip-off set for 7:30 tomorrow night. It's going down there, but we got a big slate. Let's get to it.
Yeah, and as I mentioned, AB couldn't show up on time. So if he decides to come in, he'll just drop into the show whenever interesting timing, young man. Was noon too early for you?
Yeah, apparently it was. Apparently the show and I guess last night went a little too long. So, yeah. But you know what? We're here. We're here now.
Well, yeah, you're here now. You're on very, very thin ice. All right, let's get into it because we got a lot to get to. But the big news of the day, and I like to say storylines that could affect the betting lines, but Maestro, let me come to you. The fact that the Ravens did not rule out Lamar Jackson until about an hour ago, my goodness, is that going to affect the betting today? Talk to me.
Well, I had a sick feeling. I was actually doing a radio hit when the news came through, and I'm sick because I'm on the Ravens in every contest I'm in. I'm on them on SportsLine at obviously a terrible number of 6 or 5.5 or 5. It's down to 1.5 now. I still think the Ravens can win this game. Tyler Huntley, and I tweeted this out, was a very good quarterback at Utah. He was undrafted. He was amazing in the preseason, beat out McSorley, which is obviously not saying much. But the Bears are down Mack, Hicks, and safety Eddie Jackson today. So I have no doubt that they can win this game. We've seen backup quarterbacks, Colt McCoy, Mike White, and on this year, surprise starters actually come through, cover, and win. But obviously, I would not lay anything like 5 or 6 points at this point.
AB, how confident would you be if you're a Bears bettor and you had the Bears in some teasers or even straight up be at +6, +5, and now you look at your sportsbook and it's +1 or 2? Got to feel great if you're a Bears bettor.
Oh, yeah, especially, to win the game, who knows? I mean, this is one of those where the Bears just completely mess up. But, yeah, +5, +6, feel absolutely great with that because it's not like the Ravens were blowing teams out anyway. You know what I mean? Like, we've seen one, I think, in the last 5 weeks. So, yeah, +5, +6, yeah, I'd feel good about that.
Alex, from a props standpoint, how much would you even address any of the props from a Ravens standpoint today?
Yeah, it's had an absolutely huge effect. Not only is Lamar Jackson inactive, Hollywood Brown, their leading wide receiver, is also inactive. Latavius Murray is active for the first time in the past 5 weeks. He's going to be likely the Ravens' bell cow running back, at the very least, splitting early down work with Devontae Freeman. So, yeah, this kind of thwarts everything. I had a play, actually, that I was going to give out this morning under the pretense that Lamar was playing, because we did have a report like half an hour prior to him being ruled out that he was warming up, and like the early indications were that he was getting ready to play. So, yeah, this obviously had a huge impact. I'm not going to feel comfortable giving out this play, unfortunately, just not knowing what this Ravens offense is going to look like. Down 3 starters and, yeah, a whole bunch of other moving, changing parts. So, yeah, just a huge effect.
This is such a big story. I know you're busy, Mikey, but I'd love to get your take on this situation.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a huge story. Like Larry said, I do think that they can still win the game. They're still a fine team. Yes, it is a massive drop-off with Lamar. But one thing the Ravens are typically good at, it's good that they got Murray back there. They're going to try and run the football, but Huntley hasn't been that terrible. In the event that McSorley has to come in at some point, he can still run the football and is at least a threat to move the football. So look for a little slower pace game here. They've still got weapons if they can deliver the ball to them. Look for a lot of short passes in this one. And look for a really incredibly slow pace of play out of the Baltimore Ravens in this one, which is kind of the way that they like to play sometimes anyway. So it's obviously a blow. It's a massive blow. Fortunately, I only have them in teasers and not against the spread. I do think that they still should be favored by about 2 points. I think that this line is it's a little bit of an overreaction. I think the reason why so many of us were on the Ravens initially, including people against the spread, is the line was a little hedged. So you look at the line and the movement now, people are looking at the movement like, man, Lamar should be worth a full touchdown in this spot or more. And that is true, but the line was hedged just a little bit initially, which is why it looked like it created some value on the Ravens to begin with this week. So I think it's to the point where if it gets down to a pick 'em or if somehow the Bears get favored, even, it's not a comfortable situation, but it's one where I think you should strongly consider taking the Ravens at that point.
Okay. Mikey or Alex, let me ask you this. From the chat, Sean says, if you think Murray is going to be the bell cow, do you like his yardage prop at over 32.5?
I lean over on it. Yeah, I do like it. He has been fairly ineffective. It is kind of weird to me that the Ravens seem to have a lot of confidence in him, despite the fact that he has not really been very efficient or effective this season. But yeah, they're comfortable with him. I guess he doesn't really fumble the ball. They know what they get. They've obviously dealt with just so many injuries in that backfield. Devontae Freeman has looked a little bit better, but yeah, still not offering a whole lot in the way of like dynamic plays. But yeah, I do expect Murray to get the bulk of the early down work, so I would lean over on that number. I have him projected in the mid-40s.
All right, very good. Early shout-outs to Scott Sherrod. I see Joseph, Joel, Tyler in there. A lot of people very active today. There's Faustino as well. So here's what we're going to do. We give out our best bets at the start of the show. Then we go through every single game. As I told you, there are 12 that we have to get to today. We go through every single one, give you where we stand as a show from our Tuesdays, Thursdays, Friday shows, and we wrap it all up together. So that's a lot to get to. So let's get into our best bets right now. And since he was the last one to get here, I'll let him be the first one to go. Your Highness, the floor is yours.
Yep, absolutely. So I'm going to go first. Dolphins, Jets, under 45. Yeah, there's been a lot of change in terms of who's playing quarterback. We see Joe Flacco coming out today. But you look at the Miami Dolphins, all right? This game is really about them. Their last 3 games defensively, they're only allowing about 9.6 points per game. But offensively, they're only scoring about 16.6 points per game in their last 2. So I see a game where there might not be a ton of points scored. Could be a good field goal kicking prop situation in that game. Second, we're going to go Cardinals. Seahawks got it under 49. I think that line is now down to about 46.5. No Kyler. Russell Wilson is still coming back from his injury, his second game. You see that he went 100% from shotgun last week against Green Bay. I think that they are going to see a lot of that again today because they do not want to put Russell Wilson in compromised positions to re-injure that hand. And I think that that's what you're going to see out of this game today is really not risking it much at all. We're also going to go Bills -7 at home against the Colts. It's going to be cold. There could be weather affected in this game. You look at Indianapolis, can't say much negatively about them. They've been a consistent football team. However, they haven't been on the road since week 7. I want to see Carson Wentz in that weather. Plus, you see Buffalo, they have finally gotten healthy. I think that offense is going to be hitting. And in their last 2 games, the Bills defense is only allowing 10 points per. Last, we're going to go Randy Bullock, Titans kicker, over 1.5 field goals today. Juiced a little bit at -125. But you look at Tennessee, they have injuries all over the place, both offensively and defensively. I think this game is going to be a little bit more of a slop type of game because we're going to have bad weather, rain throughout the entire game. And I think Randy Bullock, field goal attempts, he's hit over 1.5 field goals in 6 of his 9 games this year. And that's with them being 8-2. If it's a slop kind of close type of game where points, really come at a premium, I think there's a huge value in him today.
I hate to say it, but I love all those plays from AB today. I hate to say that. All right, you're seeing right now, this is what we're going to be doing every week. We give you the full picks page as my guys give it out, so we don't have to go over all the old picks. We're going to do that as we get into the games. So, Alex, let me ask you this. Do you have anything new that is specific to this show that you want to give out right now? I'm going to take that as a no. Maestro, the floor is yours. What do you got for us today?
All right. I'm going with Tua over 23.5 completions. It's only -105. If you look at the bad pass defenses that this guy has faced, we're talking about the Falcons. We're talking about the Jaguars. He went way, way over this number, had huge passing days, and now he gets the Jets. This is the 32nd pass defense in all of football. The weather is fine. I love Tua today.
I love that play. And I know Alex has your back on that play. He loves it as well. All right, Mikey, because we're going to get into every single pick in the games. Anything new for today that you haven't given out earlier in the week?
Nothing new yet. Just monitor this this Ravens game up until kickoff. If for some reason we get this number at Ravens +1, like if the market continues to move it, then I will be creating new teasers with the Ravens. If they get to 1, which would bring their number up to 7, I would absolutely love the Ravens with +7 in a teaser. So I'm just going to continue to monitor the market over the next 45 minutes and see what kind of movement we get. I doubt that sportsbooks hang that liability out there at that point, but we'll watch and see if they do.
Please keep us honest on that if you could, please, Mikey. I would appreciate that. Noah, I see you in the chat live from Derby, Kansas. Let's go Broncos. Derby was in my high school conference when I played high school basketball. So, Noah, shout out to you and all the good folks in Derby, Kansas, just south of Wichita, Kansas. All right, so let's get into – Alex, are you back? Are you good?
I'm back, Coach.
All right. We can't do this without you. Now, do you have anything new – that you're giving out specific to the show, because we're going to get into all your other picks in the games?
No, nothing new. I have got a couple plays that I like that I may give out as we talk about the games, but as of right now, nothing new, but that could change.
All right, very good. Let's get into it then. By the way, shout out to Gary. He says, Coach, I'm at the pay window waiting for it to open. Save our spots. We'll be there shortly. All right, our first game we're going to get to on the board today, Colts and the Bills. And Maestro, I'm going to start with you because you and AB are both on this play. That's where we stand as a show. AB, Maestro, -7. But, Maestro, explain yourself.
Yeah, I just love it, given that the Colts have won 5 of 7, the only 2 losses in overtime. They played a close playoff game last year. Everything points to a close game, but I think that's why this is a little bit of a trap. Carson Wentz does not do well under pressure. The weather, they're second in pressure rate, Buffalo. The weather will not help him. And the Colts are amazing at stopping the run, but Buffalo doesn't run the ball. They don't run the ball. So this is a good matchup for the Bills offense. And I think they win by 7 or more.
AB, back him up.
Yep, completely agree. And you look at how Indianapolis has gotten the job done this year. It's been Jonathan Taylor. He's had 100-plus scrimmage yards in 7 straight games, but I'm interested to see what happens when the Colts can't run the ball. What happens? What do they do with Carson Wentz? You look at Carson Wentz this season, 19% of all of his passes this season have been negative air yards, meaning behind the line of scrimmage. It's insane. Like, they use the short passing game as well. They do not press the ball down the field all too terribly much, except when they're looking for a DPI, quite frankly. But this Bills defense doesn't give it up very often. So when this game gets to Carson Wentz and he has to push and force it, yeah, that's when Buffalo takes advantage.
You're damn right. Alex, what do you got?
Yeah, this Bills defense has just been absolutely phenomenal. They rank first in DVOA, versus the pass. They're top 5 versus the rush. They are exceptional. One thing they do extraordinarily well is they do not allow deep passes whatsoever, almost at like an historic rate. Now, one thing that Carson Wentz has actually done a decent job of this year is throwing the ball downfield. He's going to struggle, in my opinion, very much against an elite Buffalo defense.
Oh, I love that little nugget. Love it a lot. We're halfway to the 400 likes. Let's get there. We're at about 200 right now. Continue to pound that like button for me, and somebody's going to win a very cool early edge hoodie today live on the show. All right, our next game on the board, Lions and the Browns. This one is all the way up to 13 because there is no Jared Goff today. The total sitting at 42.5. We have no official plays on this game. But Alex, you're chomping at the bit. What do you got?
There is a play that I like in this game. It's DeAndre Swift under 95.5 rushing and receiving yards. I want to reiterate that is a combo prop, rushing and receiving yards. We've got Jamal Williams coming back to the lineup today. I think in 4 of 7 games, this is off the top of my head, that Jamal Williams has played. He's had at least double-digit carries. If you're looking at pure touches, he's had 10 carries in 6 of 7 games. So he gets a very, very healthy workload. We saw last week DeAndre Swift had 33 touches or 33 carries. I think he had 36 touches. That is not going to be the case this weekend versus the Browns defense that actually plays the run fairly well. They have a top 5 defensive line. They rank in the top 10 in rushing DVOA. So yeah, I actually really like fading DeAndre Swift this week under rushing and receiving yards. I think the number is inflated based on his huge game last week versus the Steelers. And yeah, I'm expecting, in addition to him just not being as productive, Jamal Williams is going to have a lot of those carries and touches that we saw Swift get last week. So yeah, under 95.5 rushing and receiving yards, DeAndre Swift. I'm going to make that an official play.
All right, Jeweler, you hear that official play from Alex. DeAndre Swift under 95.5 combo yards. Don't tweet us and say, Coach, how come it's at 62? Which happened last week. It's the combo yards. All right, continue to pound that like button. So many good questions. By the way, if you have a prop question for the game that we are in, put it into the chat. Attach your Twitter handle to it, please, and we'll try to get to as many as we possibly can. By the way, Liam says Devontae Freeman under 12.5 rushing attempts earlier. Should I cancel the bet with Jackson out? Somebody want to take that? AB?
I think these guys would be better to answer than me on this one.
Alex?
So he's asking if he should cancel. He was playing the under.
Correct.
On Devontae Freeman. Yeah, I would continue to play it since Latavius Murray is active in the game. I expect Murray to receive the bulk of the early down work. Freeman should likely mix in more as their pass catching back, their 2-minute back on third downs and obvious passing situations. So yeah, I would definitely lean under. I think Freeman's only had double-digit carries in one game this entire season as well. So yeah, I definitely would lean under on that. Like I mentioned earlier too, I also like his under 63.5 rushing and receiving yards as well.
Boom. Educate, entertain me. Nobody better. All right, our next game on the board. We had a question. Does the weather in Tennessee affect the A.J. Brown prop? We'll get to that in a second. So, Titans laying 10 at home, total 44.5. Now, Titans are 8-2 straight up. 7-3 against the spread. They figure out a way to get it done. Now, we've got a lot of plays on this game. Uncle Dave Richard, he's on Danny Amendola, over 26.5 receiving yards. Then RJ White, one of our gurus, he's on the Texans plus the 10.5. It's come down to 10. And then everybody else that has a play, I'm staring at him right now. So AB, let's start with you.
Yeah, we're going to go with Titans kicker Randy Bullock over 1.5 field goals today. I think that the Titans offense, if you look the last 2 weeks, they've actually been led by their defense. And we've talked about it, taking unders on this show against the Rams, against the Saints. The Titans defense has manufactured 21 points over the last 2 games. The offense necessarily hasn't really been doing it in terms of prop numbers, et cetera, things like that. I think that we see a little bit of that today, even though Houston's defense really isn't that great, but that's a big number. I don't trust any of that whatsoever. I'm going to go with the Titans kicker, Randy Bullock. Yeah, over 1.5 field goals.
People love your kicker props. And James just loves the show. He says, love the show, gentlemen. James, thank you very much. Thanks for rolling with us. All right, Alex, I just mentioned that question in the chat about the weather in Tennessee affecting the A.J. Brown props, which you are on today. Talk to me.
Yeah, I admittedly, I don't put a lot of stock into weather, or at least I don't put a lot of research into weather. So Mikey, AB may be better equipped to answer the effects that the weather will have on the particular prop. I still like A.J. Brown a lot. I still really love this matchup. I like the spot. I did look to see that I didn't see reports of high winds. That is typically what I shy away from when I'm looking at overs on receiving props. So yeah, I'm still sticking with it. I still like the prop a lot. I will, however, caution you that I gave this out at 71.5 yards. I've seen it as high as 79.5 yards. I would not play it there, however. So I'd play it comfortably up to around 75.5. I believe it's exceeded that number. So yeah, I don't like it where it's presently at, however.
And Prop Stars brings up a very good point. We encourage you to watch the Prop Show live on Friday because the number changes as soon as we give it out. It's amazing to watch in real time. You got to watch that show live. On demand is fine, but you got to watch it live if you want to get the exact number or close to it. All right, Maestro, I mentioned R.J. White is on the Texans. Do you have his back?
I absolutely do, and I'm looking for a lot of running by both teams. I'm looking for a moving clock. I'm looking for something like 20-13 Tennessee. The Titans averaging 230 yards of offense the last couple of weeks. There's no Bud Dupree, a lot of injuries, and I think Tyrod Taylor is going to play better, and the key is his mobility and also not throwing 3 interceptions. That was the worst performance we've ever seen from Tyrod Taylor. This guy historically protects the ball, and he did in the first game and a half. I think he does that today. The Texans defense is only 17th in DVOA. That they've been put in terrible positions all season by their horrific offense when Tyrod hasn't been in. So I think they can keep this to about 20-13. I took 10.5.
All right. Let me come to you, Mikey. Chat question from Hassan. Tyrod Taylor under 235.5 passing yards, juiced to -115 in that game.
I would lean towards the under on it. I know that the game script dictates that they're going to have to throw most likely, but it's going to be difficult to throw in the second half of this game. So I would lean towards the under on it personally. Look, I think that the weather has a major impact here. It's going to start the game clear, and then we're expecting some pretty heavy rain for a pretty significant amount of time, around a 6 to 7 hour block of rain once it arrives. It's going to be a really big deal for that. Not going to be massive wind in terms of impacting passing, but I would expect the Titans to come out throwing early and often to A.J. Brown. I think that their game plan is clear. They want the lead because they know that it's going to be very difficult for the Texans to play in this weather and throw the football in this weather. So he should have the opportunity to rack up enough yards, and the game script dictates it, but I think it's going to be incredibly difficult for them in the second half. So he's going to need to get a good chunk of them in the first half of this game if you think it's going to come through.
All right, very good. AB, what do you got?
Yeah, 2 injuries for the Titans that really nobody's talking about. Like we look at, Rashaan Evans, we look at Bud Dupree being out. 2 names that are also out for today. Jack Rabbit Jenkins, a starting quarterback for them, is out, which could affect the way that their secondary is playing. Also, Jeremy McNichols is out with a concussion as well. And although his stats and numbers don't really seem all that important to the team, he is their short yardage passing back. And that could affect the way that the Titans offense plays today. So whether you're on Larry's side, you're on the under, those 2 could have larger effects than people might think.
All right, a lot of great information on a game that's being very popular to bet today. Nick, I see you in the chat. He says, you guys made sports betting fun again. That's exactly what we're trying to do. But, Nick, you can't just give us a compliment and think I'm going to hand you the hoodie. Come on, you got to do a little bit more than that. But we appreciate the compliment so very much. All right, on to our next game. And this is also a very popular game today. I can't wait to see just how both teams attack each other. I'm talking Packers, and the new number is -1.5. The total sitting at 47.5. Alex, let me come to you because your partner in crime, Uncle Dave, is on Kirk Cousins under 1.5 touchdowns today at +110. I know you don't like those particular kind of props, but is there anything in this game that you do look at?
Yeah, I actually don't mind that prop. I don't like the overs typically in those quarterback touchdown props. I do sometimes like the unders. Yeah, I do think Kirk Cousins is going to struggle. Green Bay's defense, particularly their secondary, has been terrific this season. That is despite not having their top corner in the lineup. They rank in the top, I think, 6 in pass defensive DVOA. Schematically, they are very good. That is despite missing multiple starters, as I mentioned, on the team in their front 7 as well. I think the Packers are also going to slow down this game. They play at a very, very slow pace. They bleed a lot of clock. I think they're going to keep the Vikings offense off of the field as much as possible. A lot of short passes, a lot of running plays, obviously, with A.J. Dillon, who I am anticipating having a huge game. The Packers perennially, with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback, lead the league, are always very high in time of possession. They love controlling the clock, keeping the opposing offense off of the field. So yeah, it is a bad matchup for Kirk Cousins, coupled with they're playing a team that's going to keep the ball out of his hands. So yeah, I absolutely like fading Kirk Cousins. I like fading his completions, attempts, and yards as well. I think all those plays offer some value because he's been playing well. As a result, his numbers are somewhat inflated. So yeah, I really like fading Kirk Cousins this week.
So Mikey, based off that information, should we lean towards the under as well?
Yeah, definitely. I completely agree that this game Green Bay is going to want to eat the clock. They're going to dump the ball over to A.J. Dillon a ton in this game. So, yeah, I expect fewer possessions than you might think in this game. And I would lean towards unders pretty much across the board outside of A.J. Dillon.
Okay, very good. AB, what do you got?
Yeah, really quickly. The Vikings are 4-5 this season, yet they've led by 7 or more points in every single game this year. Every one of them. They're the most wild team. Fourth quarters are important. Pay attention to how this game ends.
All right, very good. We've got a really big number of people watching right now, but yet under 400 likes. Please just take the comments down, smash that like button just one time for me, put it right back up, and you can continue chatting with everybody in the chat. All right, let's get into it. Maestro, I'm going to come back to you. Our next game on the board. This is also, even though they're both terrible, there's a lot of interest in this game. The Dolphins, the new number is 4, -4. The total sitting at 44.5. Here's where we stand on the show. Uncle Dave, Elijah Moore, over 33.5 receiving yards. He's been a dynamic young receiver. Then we've got 2 other plays that I'm going to get to, but I'm going to start with Maestro because you're the only one on this panel that does not have a play today, I believe, in this one. Well, Alex as well. But what do you make of this game as a whole, Larry?
I think you got to be a real devoted NFL fan to watch this game. Why are they starting Joe Flacco? It makes no sense whatsoever because they're afraid the Dolphins are going to blitz and a young quarterback can't handle the blitz. Well, that's why he's in the NFL. That's why he was drafted in the first round. Give him a chance. But so it's going to be I think a relatively tight game because I think Joe Flacco will not make the mistakes that the rookie quarterbacks, the unproven quarterbacks have made. That's what they're looking for, just to keep this thing close. But as I mentioned, I love Tua over everything in this game. The Jets' pass defense is just so bad, and you can run on the Jets, and that's why I'm so shocked that their passing defense numbers are so bad too, because you can also run on them, but teams, it's so wide open for Tua today. I really love him.
But Mikey, you're on one side of this game. Explain yourself.
Yeah, I'm on the Dolphins here. It's just an absolute fade of the New York Jets. They're basically the worst team in the NFL. I think the Dolphins defense is still good enough to always keep them in games, especially games like this one. So yeah, I just think it's incredible value on the Dolphins. I know it's a massive public side now at this point, and for good reason. It's well within the cards that Flacco could come in and have a decent game, but I'm going to continue to bet against the Jets in this point, especially when you get it at a key number at 3. So yeah, I like the Dolphins quite a bit.
Alex, what do you got?
This Dolphins defense that we saw versus Baltimore is drastically different than the defense that we saw in the first, 7-8 weeks of the season that was getting absolutely torn apart and gashed. They looked phenomenal versus Baltimore. We've seen them starting to play better and better each week. I actually really like backing Miami as well. I think the defense is playing well. They're healthy. We saw them pretty much shut down the Ravens on primetime. And as far as Tua props props are concerned, I absolutely love Tua props I gave out in my article. Tua over 33.5 passing attempts. Unfortunately, that number is long gone. But yeah, this Miami offense is a high volume passing attack. He is averaging, I think, close to 38 passing attempts per game in games that he has completed. Furthermore, they just lack the personnel to run the ball effectively. Myles Gaskin is a completely terrible running back, inefficient. He's a decent pass catching back, but yeah, they're relying on him. He has been so completely ineffective. The Dolphins also rank in the bottom of rushing attempts per game. It is crazy to me that the books have not yet ascertained that this Miami offense is a high volume passing attack. I think because of last year, Tua's rookie year, we saw him just not really air the ball out a lot, but that has completely shifted this season. We're seeing a drastic shift in offensive philosophy. He is just dinking and dunking, short passing, down the field. He's going to get whatever he wants versus this Jets defense ranks 32nd in DVOA. I absolutely love backing to all of his overs this week.
Maestro, and then I'll get to you, AB. Go ahead, Maestro.
Neutral situations within a touchdown either way, they lead the NFL in pass play percentage almost 70%.
There you go, backing that up. Now, AB, you got to feel good because our girl Kelsey said she faded this entire game, except you're playing the game. What do you got?
Yeah, Kelsey's brilliant. I'll tell you this, exactly what prop stars were just talking about. If you want to watch an aggressive defense, this Miami defense is exactly what you want. They run straight man press coverage, the most of the NFL, cover zero, most of the NFL. They get pressures on opposing quarterbacks 38% of the time, most of the NFL. So they are going to get after this Jets offensive line. They're going to get after Joe Flacco. Now, I am interested in the chess match of how the Jets go about kind of neutralizing that. You're going to see a lot of screen passes, a lot of dunks right over the defensive line on the pressure. That said, Miami's defense is going to absolutely pin its ears back. If you're somebody who plays defensive props, sacks, tackles plus assists, etc., this is your game right here.
Boom, boom, and boom. All right, we got to speed things up a little bit because we have several more games to get to, and we have crossed the bottom of the hour. For those of you that just dropped into the feed, welcome into Early Edge Live. We do it every single Sunday at noon Eastern time. If you could, please smash that like button for me and then enjoy the rest of the show. All right, Mikey, I'm coming to you to start this because you are on a side in this game. This is also a game I'm very, very interested in. Saints, Eagles. The number is now up to Eagles -3, total at 42. Mikey, talk to me.
Yeah, unfortunately, this one, everything went against me in terms of which players are going to be in, which players are going to be out. Still like it. I like the Saints at +3 in this one. Look, the drastic shift in offensive philosophy, just like Alex was talking about with Miami, we've seen a drastic shift with the Eagles. They just committed to running the football now. That is what the Saints do best. They stop the run. They're going to force them to throw again. Hurts is obviously more than capable of throwing, and he's got some weapons, but the Saints team always finds a way to be in these competitive games, and that's what I like here, getting a field goal this pretty significant number in this road game. Mark Ingram has filled in pretty well so far for Alvin Kamara. I think that he's going to have success again in this one. Look for the Saints to manage this game. I personally think that they are the better side in this one. I will note, though, that the Eagles are obviously a lot more healthy heading into this game than I was expecting them to be, but I do like the Saints still.
All right. Now, Alex, Mikey said a name that is very, very key today, Jalen Hurts. You're on a prop with Jalen Hurts. What do you got?
I am, and it's just passing yards over 204.5, and it correlates to a lot of the things that Mike was speaking about. This Saints rushing defense is historically good. They are allowing 48 yards per game to opposing running backs. They rank first in rushing DVOA, first in opponent rushing yards per game. They've surrendered 483 yards to opposing running backs through 9 games. That is incredible. 2.7 yards per carry. They are just an absolutely just historically good rush defense. That is going to force this Eagles in my opinion, to have to air the ball out. They are not going to be able to run against this New Orleans front. No team can run against this New Orleans front, in my opinion. We're getting a low number on Hurts as a result of that shift in offensive philosophy that Mike was discussing with the Eagles, where we saw them completely commit to the run over the past 3 games. However, those 3 games came against the Chargers, Broncos, and Lions. What do those 3 teams have in common? They cannot stop any rushing attacks. That is not going to be the case in this game, in my opinion. The Eagles are going to have to throw the ball to win. We're getting a discount on the passing line because of how good the Eagles have been running the ball recently, but that's not going to carry over today, in my opinion. If the Eagles are going to be in this game, it's going to have to be because Hurts is throwing the ball down the field. So, yeah, I like backing Hurts over 204.5 passing yards. And what's nice, this number is still available, or at least close to it. I haven't seen it go over 210. So you can still get this number. I'd still play it under 210. So, yeah, you can Jalen Hurts over 204.5 passing yards.
Let me be very clear. Maurice in the chat said you guys are straight laughing at him. No, we're not. You got to understand what we're doing. Somebody in the chat said, get your coffee, because the way Alex gives his plays, I personally love more than anything. And then Mikey took a drink, then Maestro took a drink, and I just lost it. It was just all happened at the same time. I'm sorry. I just find these things funny because I love doing this so much. So I apologize. We're not laughing at Alex. Are you kidding me? He's our rock star. All right. Now, all that information correlates to what Maestro is on today. What do you got, bud?
Yeah, I took the Eagles team total under 24, laid the juice to minus 160. I'm not sure if that's still available right now. I still like it at under 22.5 just because of everything that Alex said about how they will try to run the ball, but they will not be as efficient. I do think their rush attack is different than most because of Jalen Hurts' ability. So I don't think the Saints shut it down like they shut everyone else down. But still, you got to respect the Saints. And you also have to respect the fact that these are the second and third ranked teams in terms of how much they run the ball. So we're going to get a ton of running, a ton of moving clock. I just don't think the Eagles get over 24. I think they get around 20.
All right, very good. I like all of those plays. Hopefully you're writing them down and putting them in as you go. You're going to find that the easiest way to go about it. Now, you all know how much I hate it when the bosses bother me during the show. It ruins my flow. However, this one you are going to like because we are at around 340 likes. The bosses have said not only will we give away the hoodie at 400, if we get to 500 likes for the show, I'll give away a year-long membership for somebody who doesn't already have one. And if you do, a little upgraded. But we try to spread it around. So if we get to 500, we'll add that year-long membership to everything else. All right, moving on. We got to get to this game. And this is another one. I believe this is where our SportsLine showdowns come into play. I've got to be reminded. Washington and Carolina. The Panthers laying 3. The total at 43. Now, we've got a lot of opposites on this game. Me and Mikey rolling together. So, Mikey, since I control the flow, I'm going to let you have the floor first. Back us up, son. Back us up. Let's go.
Yeah, so we're on the Carolina Panthers here in this one. Seen a little line movement. Definitely some sharp sides, sharp people on both sides of this game in the market as well. Personally, I think this is a great spot for the Panthers being at their home field. Yes, Cam Newton is starting. That doesn't mean he's going to play every snap in this game for them. But having Christian McCaffrey healthy, having DJ Moore there, Robbie Anderson, cannot overstate how much that opens up this offense with Cam's ability to run the football as a quarterback here. So I like them here. And then just getting this Washington football team without Sweat, without Chase Young, huge deal, especially the way that they want to play with Newton and Christian McCaffrey. Takes a lot of pressure off. But I really like the way that this energizes this football team. This team is happy to have Cam Newton back. Now they're back at home for the first time with him back on the field. I think it elevates the level of play on the defensive side of the football for the Carolina Panthers. I think they're the better team here. I played an alternate line all the way to -6.5 at plus money as well. I think it's a great spot for the Panthers, and I think Cam Newton is still a drastic upgrade from what they've been running out there on a week-to-week basis.
And I don't even need to say anything more about that. If Mikey's riding with it, you're damn right I'm riding with it. Now, RJ's not here to speak for himself, but, I know the Maestro just is chomping at the bit. Tell us why you're going to send our Venmo out tonight. Go ahead.
I love the fact that this line has come down to 3. So we see the money coming in on Washington. And, yeah, the Panthers have a tremendous pass defense, but Antonio Gibson is going to be the key to this game for Washington. Had about 50 yards after contact against the Bucs. That was a very impressive performance. Their secondary is getting better. I know they don't have their defensive ends. They still got Jonathan Allen in the middle. And I just think it's going to be a field goal game, a field goal type game. Cam Newton has not proven anything as a passer since probably a few years ago, actually. So let's just take 3.5. Let's have a 20-17 final, and we'll all be happy.
I'm sure that some of us would be. Alex, let me come to you. Chat question. Christian McCaffrey over 15.5 rushing attempts. I believe that's minus 115. And then also over 5.5 catches around plus 120 is the number they put in the chat. Either one of those you like.
Happy you asked me that, Coach, because if you read my weekly column, comes out every Friday, I gave out Christian McCaffrey over 14.5 rushing attempts. The number is now up to 15.5. I saw some very other smart bettors are also on his over. But yeah, I absolutely love it. At 15.5, I probably consider playing it at a half unit. Much preferred at 14.5. But yeah, we saw the last 2 weeks McCaffrey held under this number. That was largely in part to the fact that he was in the first week back, he was coming off of a long layoff and an injury prior to the game. It was stated that he was going to be on somewhat of a limited snap count. We saw that. They also blew out, I forget who the Panthers played last week. They blew out whoever they played last week. As a result, he wasn't even playing much in the second half. So as a result of both of these factors, we saw his rushing attempts fall below this number. I think this game is going to be competitive. He practiced in full this week. I absolutely love backing his rushing attempts. We're getting a discount. I have him projected at 17 rushing attempts. That is a significant edge. As far as the 5.5 receptions are concerned, I do expect him to be heavily involved in the passing attack. That is a high number. I'd probably look more towards his yards than receptions personally. I do think he's going to be in line for a huge workload today. He's healthy. They're going to need him. And seeing good things. I like it.
All right. Well, if you like it, then we like it. All right. We've hit 400 likes, so put your Twitter handle into the chat so we can pick out a winner, and then let's get to 500 for the year-long membership. All right, guys, I got 5 games. We only have 15 minutes. We've got to go here. Our next game, 49ers and the Jags. 49ers, the new number, 6.5. It's stayed steady. The total sitting at 45. AB, the only play we have is Laviska Shenault, longest reception under 16.5 yards for minus 120. Your thoughts on this game?
Yep, San Francisco is going to look to run the ball just like they did last week against Los Angeles. They're going to try to do it over 50% of the time. And I think that they do get there, even though they do have injuries to that running back core. Jimmy Garoppolo has been in shotgun the last 4 weeks, and it has absolutely worked out for them. No play for me on it, but yeah, I like San Francisco here.
Alex?
Watch out for Deebo Samuel. He's been absolutely exceptional. He leads the league in yards per route run. In my opinion, besides Cooper Kupp or Jamar Chase, he's the best receiver or playing the best football at the receiver position this season. This Jags defense is terrible versus the pass, actually better versus the run. Deebo is going to get off some huge plays. I gave this play out on a different stream appearance. I like it. It's Deebo over 24.5 yards for his longest reception. Without multiple running backs healthy, I do think they're going to have to lean on Deebo more this week. I like backing Deebo over 24.5 yards longest reception versus a defense that is very vulnerable to allowing big plays. And Deebo is one of the best big play receivers in football right now.
All right, I got to come to Mikey next because I know, and then I'll get to AB and Maestro. You love the 49ers in teasers this week. Do you still like them, Mikey?
Yeah, I like them in teasers. I don't really love it against the spread, though. I do think they find a way to win the football game. I think that this is a pretty vulnerable spot for them. We always are cautious with West Coast teams traveling East Coast for the early start time, especially when they're coming off of a big monumental win like they had against the Rams. Now they're down the running backs. Look, it's going to be a heavy dose of Deebo Samuel. George Kittle will get mixed in a little bit, but this defense for the Jaguars, they have actually been okay at stopping the run at times. So I think the game can be a lot more competitive than some would think, which is evident by the minus 6.5 spread here. But I think they get the job done and get the win, but I'm not laying the points. I'm taking them in the teaser.
Me too. AB, quickly, what do you got?
Yep, really quickly. Your Chick-fil-A nugget of the day is this. Teams that have won on Monday this season are 8-0-1 straight up in their next game.
And who just won on Monday?
San Francisco.
Thank you very much. Maestro, you got an official play, a late official play for us?
Yeah, I just got something in with John Bates from Washington going over 16.5 receiving yards. There's no Ricky Seals-Jones. There's no Logan Thomas. And I do think Carolina defends the receivers very well.
We had hands popping up quickly. Let's go, Alex, and then Mikey.
I heard a quote from Ron Rivera stating that he felt that Bates was as good of a receiving tight end as both Ricky Seals-Jones and Logan Thomas. Larry's hyped up. I like that play quite a bit, actually. I hadn't seen the line come out yet. So, yeah, I really like that play, considering making an official play myself as well. I think I'm going to. Let's do it. Make that an official play for me as well.
Yeah. Mikey.
I was going to say the same thing. I like it a lot. I think he's incredibly athletic for them. So I'm going to make it an official play for me because they're going to have to throw the football to the tight end when they're trailing and have no shot of covering a showdown bet for them.
Have we ever had 3 guys on the same prop as we're giving it out live on the show? History. I need all 5 of you. Can we all 5 do this real quick? Everybody, just do this real quick. Come on, Mikey. Yeah, there you go. Real quick. All right, good. All right, we got to move on. Next game. This is the last 1 o'clock game. We've got 3. We're going to go lightning rounds in the 4 o'clock games. So this is the Ravens. This is the Bears. This is the game that's moved around. We have no official plays per se because of the uncertainty. But does anybody want to – I know we already talked about this a lot. We don't need to spend a lot of time. Anybody have anything else on this game? We've kind of waited until the end of the show, but not much has changed other than Lamar Jackson is out. Alex, quickly, please.
I like David Montgomery in this game. He's looked really good since returning from injury. His rushing and receiving lines came out low. I put one in my article. Going to make you read it to tell you which one it is, though. But, yeah, I like backing David Montgomery. Been very impressed with him. The Bears are very committed to running the football. So, yeah, I do like Montgomery props. As far as I can tell, the Ravens props haven't even come out yet. So, yeah, there's not much to see as far as those are concerned. But, yeah, we're probably going to see a heavy dose of Mark Andrews, Rashad Bateman. Sammy Watkins is going to be in the mix, but yeah, I like Montgomery on Chicago side.
You are a tease machine. All right, let's move to the 4 o'clock games. 3 late today, and you know where I'm going next. Bengals, Raiders. Bengals laying 1.5 on the road. The total at 50.5. Uncle Dave is on Joe Mixon over 86.5 total yards combined rush and receiving. And then I'm coming to you, Maestro. You got an official play in this game.
Yeah, Hunter Renfrow over 5.5 catches, 7 catches, 3 straight weeks, 18 targets the last 2 weeks against a Bengals defense that gives up a ton underneath. It's as simple as that.
AB, the Bengals coming off a bye, coming off a couple of bad performances. Can they get it right in Vegas today?
Absolutely. And the mistake that the Raiders are going to make is bringing pressure on Joe Burrow. He eats that alive. Burrow's going to have a big day today.
All right, very, very, very good. We're going to speed read it. Not a lot of plays on that one. All right, here is our winner of the very elusive Early Edge hoodie at Robbie Price Jr. Congratulations. You're going to get something that I don't even have yet, an Early Edge hoodie. Let's get to 500 likes, and I'll give away a year-long membership to SportsLine. And as many of you know who are already members, there is no price tag on that. All right, next game, and this is America's game. This is the game of the week. Cowboys, Chiefs. -2.5 for our Kansas City Chiefs, Mikey. The total, a robust 55.5. It's been hovering around that 56 number. So here's where we stand on the show. You know what? I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to let them tell you. Mikey, I'm coming to you first. What do you got?
Yeah, I'm on Kansas City -2.5. I think this line should be closer to 3.7, 3.8. Obviously, you can't have a 3.7, 3.8 on the market, but that's where I have it in the simulations. Talked a little bit about the Kansas City defense has looked a lot better. I've also talked a little bit about on shows this week how the Dallas Cowboys have not been a great team away from their home field and outside of domes. And I think that continues a little bit. Now they're obviously down Amari Cooper. Doesn't have a ton of impact on the betting market. However, I do think that it can throw things off a little bit. It could make it a little easier to key in on CeeDee Lamb in this spot. And then Kansas City getting both running backs healthy. I think that they're going to run the football just a little bit at times or use some short passes to both of them. I expect a pretty even split between Williams and Clyde Edwards-Helaire in this game. But look for Kansas City to get the win and cover the spread here on their home field.
Would you very quickly like the money line, since they don't cover, even though it's a low number, the money line, I didn't even look at it. I'm sure Jeweler can find it. Probably -150, 160, something like that.
I prefer the points personally. Just personally, I prefer laying the points. I think if they don't cover the 2.5, I think they lose by 4.
Okay, very good. Alex, what do you got in this game?
I have 2 plays in the game. Unfortunately, I can't advise playing either, but I'll give you a brief reason why. The first one, CeeDee Lamb over. I gave this out at 69.5 receiving yards. I gave this play out prior to the news of Amari Cooper going on the COVID list. We've seen CeeDee's number go into the 80s. I would not play him at that number. The other play I gave out was Dalton Schultz under 47.5 receiving yards. I don't like that play either as a result of Amari Cooper missing this game. That number is still available. However, I would advise against playing it. I'm sticking with it, however, because I have to. But the reason being was with Amari was healthy, it was kicking CeeDee Lamb into the slot. And that had a tremendous effect for this Cowboys offense last week versus the Falcons. We saw him really eat into a lot of those intermediate routes over the middle of the field, which is where Schultz has worked. Without Amari, I do think CeeDee is still going to play some in the slot, but he's also going to be a lot outside where he was primarily in the slot last week. So I do think it's going to have a ripple effect that's going to make Schultz's role kind of more involved today. So yeah, I don't like CeeDee's number is too high, and unfortunately, due to the news of Amari Cooper, I wouldn't advise taking Dalton Schultz's under.
That analysis is called next level. That's what it's called. Next level is what that was right there. Mikey, quickly, let me come back to you, because last week we talked about fading Travis Kelce, and he went berserk. So his number is only minus 108, 6.5 catches. Your thoughts quickly.
I don't love it. I don't hate it. I'm not playing either side of it, but I think the line's pretty efficient. I think that he's going to be between 6 and 7 catches in this game. I think that we still spread the ball out a little more. Having Clyde Edwards-Helaire back, look, we still continue to hand the football to him at times, and I think that'll continue. So I do think we run the ball just a little bit more in this game. So I don't love it. I'm not playing it in either side, but if you want to lean over, I mean, look, I think that the game script should be there for it, but I'm on Kansas City here, so I'm not expecting them to be trailing by double digits like they do in a lot of spots, but really kind of depends on how you think the game goes. If you're on Dallas in this game, then I would lean towards the over on it. If you're not, I would probably stay away from it.
All right, very good. All right, we have one last game and then our final takeaways because the games start in 5 minutes. We'll also put up our full screen. Quickly, the last game, AB, you're the only one with a play on this game. Cardinals lane 3, Seahawks 45.5. Make sure, all right, those numbers are accurate. 45 now, and that's important for your play. What do you got?
Yeah, I'm on the under 49, but look, what you're going to see in this game is both offenses shortening the field, and especially Arizona without Kyler Murray. They have brought everything within 5 yards to the line of scrimmage between the numbers, and the Seahawks defense is 8th worst in the NFL at guarding passes between the numbers, so watch that in this game. Under 49, yeah, that's the play.
All right, but okay, now it's all the way down to 45. Would you play it down to 45?
Nope, I'd stay away. That's a really, really low number. And you still have 2 offenses that could score lightning quick. No, I wouldn't play it that low.
Okay. All right. Very good. All right. We only have about 2 minutes left in the show. We're 50 likes away. If you can't hit that like button, if we get to 500 in the next 2 minutes, I'll give away that membership on tonight's show. By the way, we've got several cool things tonight to celebrate 20,000 YouTube subscribers on our Sunday night show tonight. All right, let's put up the recap page, Jeweler, and then we'll do our final takes because we don't have time to go through every single one like we just did. So there are official plays. Let's go around. I like to give my guys 20 or 30 seconds, tell them what they're most looking forward to today. AB, start us off.
Yeah, looking forward to see if the Tennessee Titans here in Nashville can continue their winning streak. I know that they're playing against a Houston, Texas team, not that good. But if they get to 9-2, man, that is fantastic for futures bettors and for this team as a whole.
Mikey.
Yeah, looking forward to that Washington football team Panthers game. See how Cam Newton responds in his second week in action here. And then also looking forward to Chiefs, Cowboys, obviously. But that Saints-Eagles game, I think that one's pretty important for the NFC as well. So looking forward to those 3 games today.
Very good. Alex, talk to me.
Yeah, I'm with Mikey. I can't wait to see both those games, Chiefs, Cowboys, Saints, Eagles. It's kind of like what happens with an immovable object meets a unstoppable force. I'm also looking forward to seeing a motivated Maestro on, I believe it's Monday night in the Rec League Championship. I believe he's going to be taking off from the foul line once again. We saw some amazing footage from that game. I can't wait to see a motivated Maestro with a lot to prove with the championship on the line.
We saw footage. I don't know if it was amazing, but we saw footage nonetheless. All right, Maestro, you're our anchor. Bring us home.
I'm looking forward to the showdown. I'm trying to remember what is the second showdown that I have. I know Washington against you and Mikey.
I know.
Washington,
What's the other
Carolina.
one?
What's the other one? Is it Bills Colts?
I have 2 also.
I think.
Yeah, it's Bills Colts. Coach is on the Colts.
Coach is on the Colts, and AB and I are on the Bills. Okay, I just want to know.
Okay. Are you sure I'm on the Colts? Because I already bet the Bills. All right. I swear to God, I bet on the Bills today. I might be rooting against myself. I can't believe I just did that. I got to write this stuff down.
I think your betting unit is a little bit higher than a showdown anyway. So,
yeah, maybe. All right. There's only one thing left to do. Damn, I love this hour so much. Hopefully you guys did too. Best of luck this afternoon. And remember, you've got your marching orders. Let's take all of these Sunday tickets straight to the pay window. For my entire team, M Squared, Prop Stars, AB, Dial Up, that's the same person, Maestro, Jeweler, everybody at SportsLine, including the bosses who, of course, are crying in the chat because I didn't say thank you for the gear that I was sent to me. So, Noah, thank you. And also a sincere, because that was not, thank you to all of you that got us to this incredible milestone of 20,000 subscribers. We'll celebrate that tonight. But in the meantime, let's cash those tickets. Tell all your friends about the early edge. Good luck.